The rain poured relentlessly over the empty street, turning the pavement into a mirror that reflected the distant streetlights. The sky above was a heavy, unyielding gray, and the air was thick with moisture. In the midst of the storm, a golden-coated Labrador walked slowly down the deserted road. Her fur was soaked, clinging to her body, but her eyes, large and gentle, were filled with curiosity and concern. She had been walking alone, her paws making soft splashes in the puddles beneath her, but something in the distance caught her attention. There, amidst the downpour, was something she couldn't ignore. The Labrador paused for a moment, her sensitive nose twitching. She had always been attuned to the world around her, noticing even the smallest sounds or movements. Her golden fur, now heavy with rain, glistened under the streetlights as she carefully scanned her surroundings. Despite the harsh storm, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Her gaze fixed on the ground, where she saw a small, trembling form. Her instincts told her that this was a moment where she needed to act. She moved closer, each step cautious yet determined. As the Labrador approached, she saw the small figure more clearly, a tiny kitten, soaked through, its fur matted and wet, its large eyes wide with fear. The kitten was curled up in the corner of the street, too weak to move, trembling from the cold and the rain. The Labrador's heart ached. She could see the kitten's vulnerability, and her protective instincts kicked in. She stepped forward, her body low, her movements slow and careful, as if to show the kitten she meant no harm. She gently nudged the small creature with her nose, urging it to get up, but the kitten was too exhausted to respond. In that moment, the Labrador knew that she couldn't leave the kitten there. She crouched down, her warm body hovering over the trembling ball of fur, sheltering it from the rain. Her nose gently prodded the kitten once again, this time more persistently, but still with a sense of care. The kitten's small form barely moved, its little chest rising and falling in slow, labored breaths. The Labrador felt a pang of fear. She wasn't sure how to help. She couldn't carry the kitten by herself, and there was no one else around. But despite her uncertainty, her sense of compassion pushed her to try. The kitten, barely conscious, lay limp in the wet street. Its light gray fur clung to its small body, soaked by the unrelenting rain. Its large eyes stared vacantly into the distance as though it couldn't comprehend the situation. It was cold, exhausted, and utterly helpless. The Labrador, seeing the kitten's frailty, felt a surge of urgency. She couldn't just stand there and let it suffer. She pushed through the doubt in her heart and gently nuzzled the kitten closer to her, hoping that her warmth might bring some comfort. The Labrador didn't hesitate any longer. She lay down beside the kitten, her golden coat offering the only warmth and protection in the cold, rainy world around them. She draped her body over the small creature, shielding it from the harsh weather. The kitten, though still trembling, seemed to find a little solace beneath the Labrador's comforting form. She could feel its small body quivering against hers, but she didn't move, staying close, her heart heavy with the need to keep the kitten safe. The storm raged on, but in that small space under her body there was warmth, if only for a moment. Despite her instincts, the Labrador began to wrestle with doubt. Should she stay here, in the cold and rain, or should she leave and try to find help? She was alone, no one else was around to offer support. The kitten's fragile state weighed heavily on her, and the storm showed no signs of letting up. The Labrador's mind raced with uncertainty. She wanted so badly to do more, but she wasn't sure how. The rain kept pouring, and the wind howled through the streets, but one thing remained clear in her heart. She couldn't leave the kitten to die alone. Then, with a sudden decision, the Labrador stood up, her body still heavy with the rain. She knew what she had to do. She had to get the kitten to safety no matter the cost. With careful precision, she nudged the tiny kitten up, guiding it with her nose, urging it to move. Slowly, she began to trot toward the nearest house, barking for help as she ran through the storm. The sound of her bark echoed through the rain-soaked streets, and within moments, the door to the house opened. A man, startled by the sight of the drenched dog and the small, fragile kitten, quickly understood the urgency of the situation. Inside the warm house, the kitten was gently wrapped in a soft towel. It was still weak, its eyes barely open, but the warmth of the indoors and the care of the Labrador had made a difference. The Labrador stood by, watching over the kitten with devoted eyes. Her tail wagged faintly, and her body relaxed, knowing the kitten was no longer in danger. The kitten, once cold and frail, began to breathe a little more easily, its little body warming up. The storm outside still raged, but inside, there was peace. Days passed, and the kitten slowly regained strength. It became more playful, its eyes, no longer wide with fear but bright with curiosity. The Labrador, ever watchful, remained by its side. They were a pair now, unlikely companions bound by an unspoken bond of survival and compassion. The storm had come and gone, and so had the vulnerability that once hung over the kitten. Now, with the Labrador by its side, the kitten had found a home, a place of warmth, love, and safety. Together, they faced the world, stronger for the bond they shared. And in the quiet moments, when the world felt calm, the Labrador would look at the kitten and know that in that storm something beautiful had been born.